Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome into FC Cincinnati Weekly alongside Tom Gaillarder, Tommy G. I'm your host, Caleb No. Tommy, welcome back to the show, man. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of good to talk about from this past
Not the highest note that we had hoped to have today. But we have some good. You know why?
Yeah.
FC Cincinnati's still atop the Supporter Shield standings.
And by a lot.
And you're by a lot. And that margin didn't shrink,
Yeah.
despite the disappointing loss. Sure, it was the first loss at home. There we go. We're going to have to talk about it. But here we are. We get a little extra rest this week, and then home stretch. Here we go.
You know, before we get into everything, the good thing here is the silver lining, I guess you could say, is that for FC Cincinnati fans, you're not used to this feeling, the feeling that you had this past weekend.
That's what I said on the postgame show.
That feeling was kind of like a normal feeling a year, 2 or 3 years ago. It was kind of a normal feeling.
Yeah.
Now it stands out because you're like, this isn't what we're used to here.
2 years ago, in the regular season at home, the first season at TQL Stadium, how many games did FC Cincinnati win at home? One.
Yeah, one.
Which means more often than not, folks walked out disappointed from that building.
Yeah.
To walk out from a regular season game for the first time this year and go, our team lost, it hurts a little more, right? Because you're not used to it. But good things are still ahead for the Orange and Blue, and we will, just like the team, we're going to charge forward right through it.
That's right. Let's get right into it. For the first time all season, the Fortress did not hold. FC Cincinnati was not able to put together another comeback in order to beat Orlando City at TQL Stadium this past Saturday. And here we go. We start in the 7th minute. FC Cincinnati with a breakaway. Santos.
Wait a second. The flag went up. He was offside. This might not be the angle that's definitive. There was another angle they showed for a split second that looked like maybe he was held on by the defender on the near side. He was disappointed. Man, that would have been important because the way Orlando plays, and they got a goal to go up 1-0, and they were time wasting, and there was some injuries that maybe weren't injuries, and on we went. And it felt like all night, Caleb, FC Cincinnati was just a smidge off, right?
Yeah.
The final pass wasn't there, or the quality on the shot was maybe not as good as it normally would have been. You see Santi Arias there disappointed from the effort. But as the game went through the second half, down a goal, a couple more opportunities. I mean, Lucho here just with an unbelievable individual effort just to get the ball to Yuya Kubo. Then he draws it back. But count how many guys in white there inside of the 18 and basically surrounding the 6. The chances just weren't there. Then there was loads of stoppage time tacked on after Orlando got a late red card. And so we continued the match into the waning moments. Can FC Cincinnati somehow, some way find an equalizer? Here's the situation in which the red card is given out. There was a headbutt in there. There was a lot of pushing and shoving. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed for FC Cincinnati. Orlando had the players sent off. And, you know, it just was a night in which Orlando did everything they could to get under FC Cincinnati's skin. Lucho committed a foul in the first half in which he picked up. Here's the goal that was offside again. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be for the Orange and Blue. And it was the 5th game in 14 days. And I think as the match wore on, we started to see some heavy legs. And I don't know that that's excuse making. I hope that it's not. I don't think it is. That's just the reality of the situation.
It is, yeah.
And when you have heavy legs, you're a little bit off. And that's how the team looked that night.
What is it about Orlando? Orlando's a good team, mind you.
They are.
What is it about them that makes them such a tough code for FC Cincinnati to crack?
Well, you know, they had done pretty well the 3 games previously, but this year they haven't scored against them.
Yeah.
0-0 down in Orlando, and then 1-0. And they aren't going to press quite as much as some teams in Major League Soccer. And then when they get that goal, as they did, you know, they didn't have to fight from behind because that goal was called off. Then they go up 1-0, and all of a sudden there's time wasting. Like I said, there's some of these injuries. I think Jeff Larenowitz had the best line of the whole night. He said, I've never seen somebody in all the games I played in, and I've never grabbed my face after being hit in the back of the neck. Right? And look, the way that Apple TV covers the games, there's cameras everywhere. So you see kind of the glance to the referee and then grabbing the face after you're hitting the neck. Like, come on. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't a fun match that FC Cincinnati lost. It was kind of hard to watch in some ways. But that's what Orlando does. It was right to that Oscar Pereira playbook. And so there you go. 4th loss of the year, though. The sky is not falling, like I said at the top, and FC Cincinnati will charge forward.
And the team does have a little bit of a break right now.
Yeah.
To kind of take a step back, rest a little bit. We saw that helped them earlier this summer a little bit. We'll talk about that later. First, here's part of what head coach Pat Noonan said after the match.
I can't fault the effort that these guys put in. You see Lucho and, the 98th, whatever it was, minute. These guys are, pushing. They got nothing left, but, it wasn't our night. So we head into the break. We look to regroup and then come out on the back end of it strong in preparation for Philly. But, yeah, disappointing result and a strange feeling, but the guys gave everything.
Yes, the fact is, I think his point there, part of what he's saying is it's one game. It's not like you lose points in the standings for that. It's not like you get a negative mark there. It's just one game. You don't come out of there with points, but you move on.
And because the team won on Wednesday night, remember before that, last Wednesday in Atlanta, it made it sting a little less, right? I think when you look at those 3 games, New York City on the road, at Atlanta, home for Orlando, you felt the team had to get a minimum of 6 points.
Sure.
And they had 6 points after 2 games.
Yeah.
So, and the way the other results went on that night, there was no gained ground on FC Cincinnati. It's still a 10-point cushion in the Supporters' Shield race. However, if you want to flip the coin and look at the other side, it's an opportunity missed, right? If you draw, now you're up 11 points. If you win, now you're up 13 points and 13
There's
points.
There's always going to be that
right.
scenario.
Yeah, you can always play that
every
scenario.
time.
But in the end, FC Cincinnati did what they needed to do over the course of the week and got 6 points.
Right.
And they're still up 10 points with 7 games to go.
Yeah, hard to be disappointed about that in the grand scheme of things. You could be disappointed about that result
in the moment.
Hard to be disappointed, about the way things are standing right now for FC Cincinnati in terms of the Supporters' Shield. Noonan also spoke about managing the game and some of the things that we spoke about earlier. The time wasting and everything like that. How difficult that was to manage that game specifically this past weekend.
It's a tough game to manage. You saw the antics that go into it, and whether it's time wasting, whether it's fouls, whether it's off the ball stuff, it's tough for officials to manage that type of game. And I think the card for Lucho, do they know he's on 4? Quick to the draw. You see the replay. There's not enough there to be sending or pulling out a yellow card. And now, of course, we miss a key player in a game where I don't think he should be off the field.
Yeah, and that's the disappointing. That's a very disappointing part for FC Cincinnati coming out of that match. You get the yellow card here for Lucho, and now he has to miss the Philly game.
Right, and was it a foul? Absolutely. Is it a yellow in that moment from Drew Fisher? We didn't really think so in the broadcast booth. The problem is that Lucho knows right here. You can tell from his reaction. He knows that now he is suspended from the Philadelphia game. If he had gotten through this game and he had gotten through, and we'll see it again here as he sneaks up from behind, he 100% clips him. Is that a malicious, violent act? I don't think so. Does he get a piece of his foot?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Does he deserve a yellow? Probably not. But what happens is everything after, right? Lucho is livid because he knows he's suspended. So he's arguing. The entire team is a little bit frustrated right here. And what happens 2 minutes later? Orlando scores the goal, the only goal of the match, and everybody's a little bit frustrated. And but this is, again, that's what Coach was talking about. Orlando tries to get under your skin. They try to get that moment where you switch off for a second because you're frustrated about a call or you're frustrated about a yellow card or a pending suspension or whatever it might be, and then all of a sudden, shucks. they struck, and that's the difference in the game.
I think the reality of it is you're going to see more of that as we come down the stretch. Your teams that
you got the target on your back.
You have that's what happens when you're 10 points ahead of everybody in the Supporters' Shield, and teams don't feel like they can necessarily match up to you every time on the field, on the pitch, 11 on 11. They're going to do whatever they can to try to level that playing field, and that's what's going to happen from time to time. It happened on Saturday. Tom, you're going to stick around for another segment, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
They asked. I said yes.
All right.
There we go.
When we come back,
another familiar face sticking around the Queen City. Find out what it means for the orange and blue right on the other side of the break.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. A couple weeks of a break here for the Orange and Blue, but it's not a break for everybody. You welcome that break, but it's not a break for everybody. If you guys got called up to their national teams, obviously a huge honor. First of all, Junior Moreno. Yeah,
Junior Moreno back in with Venezuela. If you remember when he was called in over the summer, he picked up a knock, didn't get to play in those games that were actually in the United States. This time he had to head back to South America, but Junior's been a mainstay with Venezuela, actually dating all the way back to, remember when Venezuela came to Nippert Stadium? When FC Cincinnati was still hosting games there, they played the U.S. men's national team at Nippert. So, Junior's been a regular and a great honor, as you said, for him and for all these guys.
And Junior's a guy that's playing well recently, playing a
very
huge
much in
role
form
for FC Cincinnati. How do you think he plays into Venezuela's plans here this summer? This summer?
Obviously they favor him because they continue to call him back in even after he didn't feature in those two games that were played in the United States. But absolutely a guy that's in form. And Venezuela national team is a strong team.
Yeah.
So that's a good experience for him to get out and get with those guys. And always the hope is that you come back healthy, right? Had that knock earlier. You want him to go out there, you want him to perform, and hope that somewhere in there on the plane they can get a little bit of rest.
Yeah, you think it's a thing where FC Cincinnati fans sit back and maybe watch his game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they absolutely want to watch these games. If there's availability,
and other guys' games too.
At the very worst, they're going to jump on the internet and follow the score, see if they're starting, if they're coming off the bench, and what they're up to.
All right. Not just him, but also Santi Arias.
Right.
Get called up to the Colombian national team, and Colombia and Venezuela actually played against each other last night. Yeah,
and look, for Santi, this is a big deal. 50 caps already with Colombia. This is a guy, though, because of his injuries, hasn't been called in for a few years.
Yeah.
So he talked about it and said, look, this is like a first-time call-up all over again because it's been so long since he's been involved. It's a guy who certainly should be featured, and again, Colombia, a very good national team to be a part of, and thrilled for Santi, and he is absolutely in form. He's helped FC Cincinnati score a few goals as of late. He's been the regular at the right wing-back position, and a deserved call-up for Santi.
It's another situation where, you're getting guys called up on your roster, and it's like, we want these guys to come back healthy. We want them to come back in good form. But you're also very happy that these guys are getting called up.
It's an honor, right? You want guys that are on the national team, and then you're like, wait, but that's why Major League Soccer can't play on these windows. And FC Cincinnati's not. There are some teams, I think 5 games this weekend. Miami's missing 9 guys. So, and Miami's a team that's trying to add up points and get into the playoff race.
They need the points worse than FC Cincinnati does.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely, right? So they're going to be missing a lot of guys, but due to their schedule congestion, they have to play this weekend. It's something MLS hopes to avoid and have made measures. There'll be a break actually before decision day for the next window. But, absolutely. You want national team guys because that means you have guys that are the best in Colombia and the best in Venezuela and the best in Gabon.
Exactly. You're more concerned when you don't have
anybody getting the call up. Yeah, right.
Aaron Bupenza, another one.
Also he got the late call up. They have 1 game, Gabon. So, he's headed out as well. Bit of a long adventure for him to get out there and back. But best of luck to all those guys. And they should all be, as long as they come back in good health, available for the September 16th game at Philadelphia. That's what everybody asks.
Absolutely.
In high school, I started writing my career goals above my bedroom door.
Today for 21-year-old keeper Roman Celentano, a Major League Soccer debut for the number 2 team.
Celentano on the doorstep for Morongo trying his luck today. Apoku got there. Celentano at full stretch, his 4th save for the game.
Benteke back through, remembers of the save. Celentano makes it. Oh, the save, Celentano. 2022 comes to a close. FC Cincinnati is going to the Major League Soccer postseason. Headed out to the far post. Celentano swats it away. What a save by Big Roman. Greeny across the box. Celentano, a highlight reel save.
So far, I've accomplished every goal I've set out to achieve. But I'm not done yet.
And Roman Celentano signing a contract extension with FC Cincinnati to the sound of a familiar voice in the background of that
a couple
video
highlights in there, and what a great opportunity to lock in Roman.
Yeah.
I know everybody's been really happy with his performance. So Roman around for 2020 till 2027. I think the chance when he came out for warm-ups against Orlando were 4 more years. 4 more years. And he's locked in for 4 more years.
Yeah,
So
Roman's a young guy
time, yeah.
who's been a major factor for FC Cincinnati in several games this season. He's been a force back there in the goal, a guy you'd love to keep around, and they made that happen.
Thrilled to see him locked in. I know the fans are as well. So that is big time.
Yeah, what in your mind, what is it about Roman Celentano that makes him such a valuable factor for this team?
Well, he's domestic, first of all, right? You have a domestic goalkeeper, so he doesn't take up an international slot. He's stepped in, he's level-headed, and highlight reel save after highlight reel save. So big accomplishment for him, and big for FC Cincinnati to know they have that position locked in for the foreseeable future.
All right, you can listen to Tommy and his partner Kevin McCluskey on the radio on ESPN 1530 or on iHeartRadio during the games. You can get their home calls on your Apple MLS season pass. Just get into the settings and choose local radio broadcast audio. You'll enjoy it. Thanks so much, Tommy.
Always a pleasure. Make sure everybody keeps using the Kick Childhood Cancer hashtag, right? We got the special top today. Brought it out for y'all. So use it. Hashtag Kick Childhood Cancer. And there'll be a donation made to a local childhood cancer foundation. So,
all right. Have some fun this weekend. You're off from soccer
I know.
games.
I'll see you next week.
His MVP caliber play has earned him another MLS Player of the Month title. I had a chance to sit down and talk with Lucho about what his success means to him and his family. We'll be right back.
Come see Cincinnati native Rose Lavelle and the U.S. women's national team at TQL Stadium as they begin to prepare for the 2024 Summer Olympics. It's an international friendly against South Africa on September 21st. Tickets are on sale now. Visit ussoccer.com/tickets for more details. For the second month in a row, midfielder Luciano Acosta has been named the MLS Player of the Month. What an honor that is for Lucho. His 4 goal contributions in 3 matches, tied for the most goal contributions in the league over that span. His performance against Atlanta United helped the Orange and Blue become the first team to clinch a playoff spot in the MLS Cup playoffs. He's currently tied with Hani Mukhtar atop the Golden Boot leaderboard with a career best 13 goals this season. He leads the league with 24 goal contributions, 13 goals, and 11 assists. I had a chance to sit down and talk to Lucho about what it means for him to be playing in Major League Soccer. Here's part of our conversation. Lucho, obviously you've made a tremendous career out of soccer, but if it weren't for soccer, if soccer hadn't worked out for you, what would you be doing?
Hard question. No lo sé, creo que hubiese estudiado algo que...
I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I think I would have studied something around football. I'm interested in sort of the physiotherapy, the psychology of footballers, but something around football.
Was there ever a backup plan for you, or was it I'm going all in on soccer, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll figure that out?
No, bueno, o sea, uno nunca sabe, ¿no? Creo que...
You never know what it would have been like, but it was my total focus. My family totally supported me. Who knows if I had done something else, I know that they would have supported me fully in that, but my family worked so hard so that I can be here. My wife, her support, when she was my girlfriend, her support, it's just thanks to them, to my family, to my wife, to my family, who have made me who I am.
What is it about the game that drew you to it and made you love it so much?
Es que nosotros los argentinos...
It's tough to think about like where it comes from, but in Argentina, there's not much else to do. It's work or play football. So as kids, that's what you did, and so there's nothing else to do. The passion that we live with for football in Argentina just makes us love this sport. And I think, my dad never had the opportunity to play this professionally, and so for me to be able to do that and how happy that makes him is very special.
Well, if you went down to an FC Cincinnati game and got a taste of the atmosphere, you can put down a deposit for your season tickets at fccincinnati.com. And if you don't have an official kit for the club to wear to games, you're in luck. Check out the new FC Cincinnati team store right in the heart of OTR, the new store located at 1433 Vine Street It will now serve as the team's primary team store on non-match days. Parking, no problem. There's a lot right across the street. Come check out the newest FC Cincinnati merchandise at our new home in OTR. For hours and more details, go to fccincinnati.com. Welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. You know, most MLS teams, including FC Cincinnati, are still on a break for the next week or so. For any remaining MLS games, you can go to fccincinnati.com and get your tickets to see the winningest team in all of Major League Soccer this year at the Fortress. There are 3 more games at TQL Stadium before the playoffs. Go to the website so you can get in on the action today. That's it for our show this week. Thank you so much for watching. Join us here every Friday, 7:30 p.m. for FC Cincinnati Weekly, the most comprehensive coverage of the orange and blue you'll find anywhere out there. For Tommy G and the rest of our FC Cincinnati Weekly crew, have a great night and go FCC.
Towards the far post, and it's off the line! What a save! That's a match-winning save.